I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm Dr. Stacy Sainer. I am an assistant professor in the School of Medicine at University of Louisville. And today I'm going to provide you a very quick overview of our health professions education program. So at any time you have questions, feel free to jump into the chat or just unmute or whatever and speak up, because there's just a couple of us and that is absolutely fine. As a caveat, I say, as of right now, our HPE program is a combined effort between the School of Medicine and technically my office, which is the Health Sciences Center Office of Professional and Educational Development, and the University of Louisville College of Education and Human Development. But starting this summer of 24, the Health Professions Education graduate programs will move completely into the School of Medicine within my department, because we've been able to have so many more graduates, and I'm getting lots of faculty that have participated in the program over the years that are excited to teach and share their knowledge. So we are moving the program to the School of Medicine. But as of right now, this is how it still is. So I always kind of walk through our core faculty. So first there's me, and I serve as the director of our office here and the program director for the Health Professions Education program. We have Dr. Laura Weingartner, who's a researcher. She is also an assistant professor, and she is the director of HPE research within the School of Medicine. And then I have two clinical faculty that are part of my core team. We have Dr. Russ Farmer. He is currently the associate professor in surgery and the senior associate dean for undergraduate medical education. And so he's been responsible for all the curriculum for the medical school in his role as the senior associate dean. And then I have a dental faculty who has joined our core faculty here, and that's Dr. Will Abshir. He is in comprehensive dentistry, and he's a fantastic educator, and I've loved getting to know both of these guys. These gentlemen have gone through our HPE programs. They have been teaching a lot and have done fantastic work. So I'm really thrilled to be able to have clinical instructors, pure clinicians that are teaching about teaching. So I always like to roll through what the goals of our program are and just make sure that everybody understands, why are we doing this? Our first goal is to develop educational leaders, especially within the realm of health professions education. And so I do have people in the program who are nursing faculty, dental faculty, as you're aware, as well as medicine and other allied health. I get physical therapists, occupational therapists, pharmacists, and even some faculty have come through from public health. And so it has really become important to help develop these educational leaders within their clinical specialties. And so we do take that very seriously. The next goal is to provide that academic healthcare center with highly qualified educators, because I know that clinicians or providers in general, you guys don't know a lot about, they don't teach you about how learning works and what is learning science and how do you create those durable memories. That just doesn't happen as part of your training, and which is fine. But when you jump into an academic teaching situation, that type of knowledge can provide you with some wonderful ways to interact with your learners and help them be successful. And then, of course, the final goal of our program is to serve the discipline. And I know not everybody's a bench scientist, not everybody is doing clinical research. And so HPE is a very rich place to do education research and really take what you're doing with your learners, whether students, trainees, whoever, and create scholarship out of that. And so that's just a place where everybody can work to help the discipline of health professions education. So those are kind of our big three goals. The next thing I always try to go through our competencies for the health professions education program. So we have 6 competencies that we rely on. I suppose I should mention we do have a graduate certificate that is only 12 credit hours in length. That one will not cover all of our competencies. It will just cover 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the master's degree in health professions education will indeed wrap its way through all 6 of the major competencies that we go through in our program. So let's talk about competency number 1. The goal with this one is by the time you finish our program, I want you to be able to create learning and development opportunities that really is backed by learning science and learning theory, so that you can not only do that in a didactic session, but you can also do it in that clinical learning environment. We really concentrate on the teaching effort, and we introduce you to both strategies and ways to create learning opportunities in both of those realms. So that is about competency number 1. Our second competency is to help you have that ability to assess and evaluate what's going on in that didactic or clinical learning environment. We know you can't just look at somebody and see whether or not they've gained that new knowledge. They have to demonstrate a change in their behavior, their attitude, or their skills. And so how do you assess that? Did learning really occur? And how do you evaluate your program? So this is a very important one, because this will help you develop, needs assessments and look for ways to improve. Our third competency is to help you develop and help you promote, especially with your colleagues, promote that professional educator identity. So we know that if you are a physician, for example, you have taken many years to develop your professional identity as a physician, but probably not very much time to develop your professional identity as an educator. And my big goal is, whenever I work with faculty on the health science campus here at University of Louisville, I introduce myself. I love it when they say, I'm a physician educator, I'm a surgeon educator, I'm a nurse educator, I'm a dental educator, that they're really embracing that educator identity. The fourth competency is it's really around safe learning environments. Our trainees, our students can't really learn if they are not in an inclusive, safe learning environment. The research shows over and over again, if they feel threatened, if it's a whatever type of situation they are in, they have to feel like they can trust the people that they're working with. They have to feel like they can depend on them. And so creating a safe learning environment is probably the most important thing that you can do to help your learners move forward and grow. And so I said, like, these 4 competencies, we hit all of those during our 12 credit hour graduate certificate, but we'll hit the next 2 competencies and go further in depth in the first 4 in the master's degree. So competency 5 is to help you with that research, your scholarly skills around health professions education. Because if you've done any type of clinical research or bench science research, you probably have some research skill, but I'm here to tell you education research is just a little bit different. And so you may need some knowledge on qualitative statistics, or how to create a program development plan that you can actually study and look for improvement. So this competency is going to help you with that component of HPE. And then our last competency is, I really want to help you be able to lead and influence across multiple units, departments, or even across the entire institution. I want you to be an educational leader that can come in and say, this is what the research tells us around X. whether it's simulation, whether it's the didactic courses, or whether it is clinical educational situations, and really be able to lead and influence and help people understand best practices when it comes to educating our next generation of providers, really. The next thing I kind of jump into is, so what's special about our UofL program? And one of the things I always like to make sure everyone is aware of, I have clinicians with educator degrees, education degrees. I mean, I know I introduced you to Dr. Farmer and Dr. Abshir as part of my core faculty, but we do have additional clinical educators who come in for specific courses or do different components. It's not just the two of them. And I do know there are some HPE programs that are great, but they are unable to bring in actual clinicians because it's difficult to buy out their time or just to, because they're so busy. The other thing about our HPE program is all of our courses, I will say with a caveat, almost all of our courses are 8-week asynchronous courses, which means on your own time. You do it when you can do it. There are generally weekly deadlines, and then the course is 8 weeks long. And I hear this a lot. Faculty, sometimes when things get a little difficult or trying because of other situations going on at home or at work, they're like, all right, I can get through anything for 8 weeks. And it's kind of a great mindset because you can push through. And then if you want, you can take an additional course the next 8 weeks. And so technically you can take 2 courses a semester. I mean, you can take more, but most people don't take more than 2 courses a semester as, a full-time academic. I'm not even going to try to say it. I don't know why I'm stumbling over the words, but as a full-time faculty member, you're really busy. So 8 weeks asynchronous. And so with that means we have 5 start dates a year. We start in there's 2 start dates in the fall, so we're in the fall right now. So there's fall 1 and fall 2. And then in the spring semester, we have 2 start dates. We have spring 1, which will be like your normal start time of January, and then spring 2, which the start time, I think, is either at the end of February this year or the very beginning of March. So it's like right on there on that March, February timeline. And then we also have a summer start. So you have 5 different options here at UofL to be able to start the program, because we do offer those 8-week courses. As I said, not all the classes are 8 weeks. There's a capstone for the master's, and that course is a full 16-week semester, just due to working on that project. And I'll talk more about that here in a moment. And so the other thing I really like to hammer home, I guess, is we really do care about impacting the next generation of providers here. And we want to support your journey. We know you're busy. We know you're seeing patients all day. You could be in shift work. You could be in the ED. You could be in labor and delivery, working nights. Things happen, right? We want you to know that we don't assign work just for the sake of assigning work. We make sure every single reading, video, podcast, document that you look at or activity that you would create or do is going to be of the highest quality and provide the biggest bang for your time. We're not going to do something just for the sake of taking up time, because we know your time is very precious, and we do deliberately spend meetings looking at each course, making sure that the readings are the most relevant, the most up to date, and yet the most concise, that'll get you the information that you need to be successful. And in addition, we also understand the crazy hectic schedule of a clinician. And we also want you to know time, or, life happens. And, most of the time we're like, hey, don't worry, if you've got another situation come up, or if there's, you can't make a deadline, please just contact your faculty and talk to them about it. And, the only big deadline is at the end of the semester. So I like to say that. The concentration, what we are concentrating in this program is teaching. So I know there are other health professions education programs where they are really focusing on that research aspect, how to be an HPE researcher. Please know our program is about how to make you the very best educator, teacher, facilitator that you can be and make a huge impact on the students or trainees that you are working with day in and day out. So our concentration is all about the teaching. So with that, what does the program look like? So for the graduate certificate, as I've said, there are 4 courses. They're 3 credit hours each. And those courses are, and these are just kind of in numerical order, but technically because we have multiple start dates here, we have made it so that for the certificate, at least, you can start at any of these courses. So there's evaluation and assessment. And like I said, how do you know that learning has occurred? How do you know your program is making an impact or getting the learners what they need? Then we have what we call a foundations course. That foundations is really all about learning science. How does learning work? How do you create durable memories? What is learning theory and how does that relate to learning science? And why should you know about different types of learning theory? So that's kind of your baseline course, if you will. So that is 665. And then we have teaching and learning at HPE. That course is your programmatic review. So if you were going to create a new fellowship program, a new residence, or you wanted to revamp a residency program, or you wanted to work on a specific nursing course or some other type of program, this course is really going to provide you some definite ways to look at programmatic change and what you can do to improve your programs. And then the last one here is instructional strategies. This course is, I call it 1,001 ways to teach something because there are certain types of knowledge or skills or attitudes that can be taught in multiple different ways. And whether or not you're in a didactic session, or are you in a clinical session, or are you in a simulation, let's take a look at what is the best instructional strategy. What does the evidence say? There's a lot of research out there saying, for this type of content, this type of instructional strategy tends to work best. And so what does the literature say? And so we will spend a lot of time looking at best practices and evidence-based teaching strategies. All right, so that is our certificate. So even if you just take the certificate, you would be done after these 4 courses. But a lot of people come in and say, I really, excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, goodness. Just felt that coming up. A lot of people jump into the certificate because they don't know if they want to really do the master's. But guess what? You can roll these courses directly into the master's because they are part of the master's degree. And so let's talk about the master's really quickly. Our master's is a 33 credit hour program. It's a non-thesis master's. And so by non-thesis, we basically, the last semester is a 16-week professional project. And so people are like, oh, what are we doing in a professional project? There are options, and I let people choose what they want to do. But most people really like, I want to revamp, a course, or I want to revamp the infectious disease component of pediatrics, right? For residents, or I want to work on the neonatology fellowship program. And so they are doing a deep dive into a specific program or course and really looking at the literature. What are best practices? What's the content? Are we really getting the types of content that our learners need? And spending time developing a good program. And so for your professional project, there's some couple other little things along that 6 weeks and some check-in points. But in the end, the final is writing up a what we call a executive summary and doing a professional talk. That is, that's all, right? So, there's obviously lots of parameters and things to think about in there, but we would be preparing you all along the way to finish that project. Some people do choose to do a mini research project, and that is just fine as well. We would get you to the point where you would still write an executive summary, do a professional presentation, and we would get you to the point where you could write a manuscript. We would help you with IRB, working through the, setting up whatever type of study you would like to do, collecting some data. Obviously, it would be in a much smaller, it's not going to be a huge research project, but get you to the point where you practice some of these skills, and hopefully then you can take off and run with it to submit for publication. So this is changing. You were at the beginning of this session. I said that we're moving from the College of Education to the School of Medicine, but as of right now, this is still the case. 8 of the courses in our master's program, as of right now, are still HPE specific, starting in summer of 2024. So coming up, 100% of our courses will be HPE specific as we move into the School of Medicine. So I'm very excited about that. But currently you have the 4 courses that I just talked about. And then we have these courses. We have an educational leadership course, which is HPE specific. This is where I'm really going to talk a lot about your professional identity as an educator and how you can help your colleagues work on their educational identity as well. The course that will help you with the research project is this one right here, Lead 685, and this is evidence-based practice. And then we have diversity in higher education, and this is really where we are going to talk about social determinants of health. We're going to talk about some of the important diversity and inclusion topics that are really important to health professionals, and educating people and making sure everybody is on a level playing field. And then, of course, right now, the professional project is also HPE specific, and currently you would have 3 courses in higher education, but like I said, that is changing. We have a course coming on feedback. We have a course looking at wellness. Burnout is a huge issue in the health professions, so we'll be looking at how you can help yourself and how you can help your learners. Looking at wellness issues. We will also be having courses on interdisciplinary programming. So nursing colleagues working with their pharmacy colleagues and their medical colleagues, and social work even. How can we produce and do more interprofessional collaborative work? Because technically that's how you guys work all day in and day out. And so we need to work more at facilitating those interprofessional learning activities. So this is kind of the framework of the master's, like I said, as it stands right this second, but it will be changing starting in summer of 24. All right, so as I get to the end of my time, as I check the clock, support, help. We do have an enrollment counselor, and her name is Cassie Thompson. And so she can be reached by the email just online at louisville.edu, or her phone number right there. You can reach me for specific questions about the program, or the changes coming. I can't really advertise that stuff right now because that hasn't gone into effect yet, but I can talk to you about them. But this is my email address or my phone number. Feel free to give me a call or shoot me a message. I'm happy to chat with you and tell you what's going on in the future. We do have folks from all over the U.S. that are in our program: Texas, Mississippi, West Coast, Northeast. We also have fellows. A lot of the departments here at UofL will pay for fellows to get a master's degree, and so we get some specialty fellows in the program as well. So lots of people ask about applications. And so if you were looking, it's kind of late to start in January, but if you'd like to start at that end of February, beginning of March date, I would suggest getting an application completed by probably the third week of January, because you would have to get transcripts submitted, and sometimes those can take a while. But I'm going to stop and see if anybody has any questions. Feel free to just unmute or drop something in the chat, and I know we're about out of time, so I just wanted to open it up really quickly to see if I can answer any questions.
Hi, thank you for this.
Sure.
This was really very informative, and I think you probably answered a ton of my questions, which is great. Just really quickly to clarify on the 8-week courses, does that mean that most people just take one course for those 8 weeks, and then two, so that means 2 courses per semester? Okay.
You have it absolutely correct. Because so there'll be a class that would start in August, you would do that for 8 weeks, and then a class that starts in October, and you do that for 8 weeks, and then you're done. And so you're not concentrating on more than one thing at a time for the most part. And I found that especially our professionals tend to like that better.
Yeah, no, that's great. And then one other quick thing, I noticed on the website, it said that the capstone is based on a clinical model, but I think from what you were describing, it could be because I don't don't work in a clinical setting. I'm actually not a clinician, but I work at a medical school. And but I'm dealing mostly with didactic and also with the service learning programs.
Yeah. So yeah, that would, like, if you wanted to revamp one of your service learning activities or revamp a didactic course, that is exactly what you would do. And we do spend time on like all the big topics. It's like, so what would this look like in the clinical setting, and what's it look like in a didactic? So I mean, you would kind of get both of those. But for the most part, I'll tell you a secret: good teaching is good teaching, no matter if it's in a clinical setting or in a classroom. So you can apply it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Sure. Well, if there are other questions, I will hang out here for a few minutes. And I appreciate your time today. But if you have any questions or you want to contact me later, here is my information. I'm happy to chat. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of, I don't even know what today is. I've been so busy. Your rest of your Thursday, because man, I have some big deadlines I have to meet tomorrow. So
Great. Thank you so much.
Sure. Take care. Stop sharing my screen for a minute. Remember. All right. Hey.
Hey, sorry, I didn't mean to click off of there.
Oh, no, it's no big deal. I think I do it all the time.
All right, so let's see. Is there anything you have left for me. I think that Emily just sent me something too.
Oh, good.
She sent me some type of, what is it called? Okay, go see. Let's see. She just sent me a email with a course thing, I think. Okay, this is for the CITI training
Yes, the
module.
city training.
Okay.
Yep, that's the
Okay.
biggie.
Okay, so I can do this today. This one doesn't have anything to do with the iris thing, does it?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah, that I think you can do.
Okay. I'll look into that.
Yeah, see what you can find. Well, I'll be here. I mean, well, I have an appointment this afternoon, but
Yeah.
if something comes up, just email me or text me, and chances are I can get back to you. Oh,
Yeah, they are very attached to mom.
yes, I can see that.
But yes, I'll get into that, and then if I have any questions, I'll let you know.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Shamise.
You're
Talk
welcome.
to you
Have a good
later.
day.
Bye.